What's up everyone? Today we are back in Nano Corner and we're going to take a look at the 8-gallon Cobalt tank here because it's been about 2.5–3 weeks since I did a hydrogen peroxide treatment on it to kill off some of the Staghorn algae that was in here. So let's take a look and see how it's doing. So just to get everybody caught up, last time we looked at this tank, it was pretty much almost completely covered in Staghorn algae. You can barely see the driftwood. A lot of the plants were starting to suffer and be choked out. So this tank went through a much needed water change and hydrogen peroxide treatment to kill off that algae, which was a major success. There's still some algae in this tank, but it's definitely not what it was. The plants are all rebounding and the algae is diminishing, which is exactly what we wanted to happen. All the algae that died off, I either took out during water changes or the shrimp and the 2 juvenile Farlowella that are in here took care of it. Now as you go in closer, there is still some algae in there, like I was saying, mainly in the Pogostamen helferi up at the front, and a little bit of the Rotala, and there is some still in the Pogostamen erectus towards the back of the tank. And what I'll do for that is I'll go ahead and do another water change, and I'll give this tank another hydrogen peroxide treatment, but this time instead of spraying down the wood like I did last time, I'll use a syringe and spray it into the places where the algae is kind of collecting. Before we jump into doing that though, what have I been doing to combat the algae? Other than the major hydrogen peroxide dousing I gave the tank last time around, only other things I've changed has been the feeding schedule for this tank. I've only been feeding it once every other day just to minimize any organics in the water until the algae is mostly gone. The other thing I've been doing is I've bumped up water changes for the time being to twice a week on this tank. Originally I was doing once a week. I'm now doing twice a week. And all these things put together have really been helping to fight the algae, get it under control, and to allow the plants to kind of get stronger again and fight it off themselves too. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and feed the tank, do the water change, and spray down some more hydrogen peroxide just to kind of get rid of some more of that algae. Alright, so the water level is down now, and I have the air pump turned off so that there's very little to no water movement, so that way the hydrogen peroxide kind of has a chance to sit around the algae to really envelop it. And first thing I'm going to do is make sure that there's no cherry shrimp near the peroxide or where the peroxide is going to go, just to make sure I'm not causing them any harm. I'm pretty much going to be focusing on the algae that's right up here in the Pogostamen helferi. I'm not too concerned with what's in the back of the tank with the Pogostamen erectus back there. So I'm just going to take my pipette here, and I have some hydrogen peroxide here in a little cup. I'm going to fill it up, and I'm just going to give a little bit of a squirt here right next to the algae, just really slowly, just to make sure it kind of stays in that vicinity there. I'm going to do that a couple more times just to take care of that area. And I see there's a little shrimp moving too close there, so I'm just going to push him aside there so he stays out of harm's way. As I keep doing this, I'm just keeping an eye out, making sure no shrimp venture too close, because for some reason they are a little curious, so they do try to get in there. And after a few minutes, the hydrogen peroxide will be completely harmless to them. It'll dissolve into water and oxygen. Alright, so this is just pretty much about a minute after putting the hydrogen peroxide on the algae. You can see everything starting to bubble right there in that spot. And because hydrogen peroxide is essentially antibacterial, you don't want to get too much of it into the substrate, because that will kill off any beneficial bacteria that are in there, especially in this type of tank where I'm not running a filter. All the beneficial bacteria is essentially in the substrate, on the wood, on that on any of the lava rock in here. So you want to be very careful when you're doing that. Alright everyone, that is it for today's video. Hope you enjoyed it. I think we can all agree this tank is looking 10 times better than what it was originally. The algae is finally going away. Like I said in my last video, I don't mind most algae, but Staghorn is just one of those annoying algae that makes the tank completely unsightly, so I'm happy to get rid of it anytime. I will see y'all on, I just said y'all. I will see you guys on next week's video, and if you're not subscribed already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and give me a like too.